our incorruptible inheritance. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who, according to his abundant mercy, has begotten us again to a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that does not fade away, reserved in heaven for you who are kept by the power of God, through faith for salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. 1 Peter 1, verses 3 through 5. There's a thrill that comes with buying something new. Once upon a time, in the author's teenage years, which was before mine, but I do remember some of the aftermath, there's a thing called a boom box. Essentially a portable stereo, but it wasn't very portable. Needed big batteries. Walkman existed, but expensive, and also weren't very portable. Back then, there was the term ghetto blasters, because there was all kinds of noises. At first, they only included radios and cassette players. Some of them had a record player attached. But when the CD, which is about 40 years ago, give or take, when the popularity and title selection increased, I know we're talking ancient, especially the internet age. When they came as part of the package, I was determined to have one. I began to sock away every cent I could lay my hands on for months, knowing it was going to be a while before being able to purchase the prize. I myself saved about 60 bucks 25 years ago from birthday and Christmas money, and got something similar, but of course it was much later, so it was a lot smaller. Growing up, no allowance. You had to do the chores. I wasn't getting paid. I was expected to do them. Point being, though, they were prohibitively expensive. At long last, the anticipated day arrived. He walks into the shop, puts the money on the counter, who gave him the big box with the stereo. With enough left over to buy a single disc. $10 to $12, give or take. Then, but of course we're talking many decades ago. Less than an hour later, the stereo was out of the box in the room. And he was one of the first in town to listen to a compact disc. Won't deny that it was an exhilarating experience, but a few months later, as with most purchases we make, the CD player began to seem ordinary. Enjoying it, but it was no longer thrilling. After a couple of years, one of the mounts for the detachable speaker broke off and it became non-portable. And a few moves ago, I found the remains of the once loved stereo in a box, and when it failed to operate, finally threw it out. And so it goes with almost every experience. The pleasure associated with the things we reward ourselves with in this life passes quickly. In my case, no. But it may be different for some of you. And we find ourselves pining for something new so that we can recapture the thrill we felt the last time. Yeah. The chase is better than the catch. But as a music collector myself, or a music hoarder by some definition, I do it because I love it, and the thrill's been there, and it has continued to be there. But it's true, new clothes become threadbare, cars break down, and houses need to be repaired. Pro tip, take care of your stuff, idiots. But it will not always be so. While this world continues to deteriorate apart from God, Jesus has laid aside an incorruptible inheritance for us, an eternity in the presence of an internal, incorruptible God. A God who loves you, whose deepest thrill comes from giving us rewards we cannot earn and do not deserve.